So I came across this article on RT, and it says Poland to reveal plans for European Iron Dome. Now, I actually just did a video a few days ago about this narrative that seems to have been perpetuated by the Western mainstream media, and that narrative says that Russia poses a threat for the security of Europe. And they're basically saying that if Russia would win the Ukraine war, and I've got news for you, Russia is going to win the Ukraine war. But if they win the war, then they might also attack other European countries, even EU countries, and even maybe NATO countries. Now, as I mentioned in that video, I believe, and you don't have to agree with me, but I absolutely very strongly believe that that is absolute nonsense. I mean, Russia has no interest whatsoever to attack other European countries. I mean, I've never heard any plausible reason why Russia would do that. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, there is a very plausible reason why Russia attacked Ukraine as they did. I mean, it's very understandable why they did that. And when I say understandable, I don't mean that you have to agree with the reason. I'm just saying you can understand, you can trace back why this happened. It basically comes down to NATO provocation. So it's very understandable in that sense why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they believe that they had to attack Ukraine in order to defend their own country. But again, I've never heard any plausible reason why Russia would attack other European countries. I mean, there's no benefit for them in that. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it seems like European leaders are riding this wave of this, in my opinion, false narrative of Russia being a huge threat to the European security, and that we should spend billions and billions on increasing our defense budget. Now let's take a look at this. So Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has said that in the coming days, he and other EU leaders will present plans for an Israel-style Iron Dome missile defense network. Now, my first question would be, why? Why would you do that? I mean, where's the threat coming from? I already mentioned Russia. Again, I believe the threat from Russia is non-existent. There is no threat from Russia. So if not Russia, then where would the threat be coming from? Africa? China? Of course not. Now, I will say this. There is something to be said for the idea that Europe should be able to defend itself in general. Yes, I mean, there is something to be said for that. Many people will agree to that. But they make it seem like all of a sudden there is this big urgency because of some supposed Russian threat, which, again, I believe is simply not true. Now, my second question would be, do you know how much this would cost? And who do you think is going to pay for this? It's us, the European citizens. We are going to pay for this. And where do you think the money is going? Well, it's going straight to the military-industrial complex. Take a look at this. Developed by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and Israel Aerospace Industries, the Iron Dome has been used by Israel since 2011 to track, intercept, and destroy incoming rockets, missiles, and drones. Now, that also answers where the money is going. It's going to some American and some Israeli arms manufacturer. But the funniest thing about all of this is this. So while the Israeli military claims that the Iron Dome can intercept around 90% of incoming projectiles, some analysts put the true figure at 30%. Even at higher estimates, Iran's recent drone and missile attack on Israel demonstrated that firing enough projectiles, the system can be overwhelmed and defeated. Well, that's very true. So Iran has proven that this US-Israeli Iron Dome system is basically flawed. Especially against those ballistic missiles, this system is pretty much defenseless. So what's the idea here? Are we going to spend billions and billions and billions of euros that we, the European citizens, are going to have to pay for and give that to some American and some Israeli weapons manufacturer and spend it on some a missile defense system that is basically flawed, that would be pretty much defenseless against these Russian ballistic missiles? Does that really sound like a good idea? Well, let me say this. I believe that someone would get crazy rich very fast.